To severe plaque psoriasis. Thanks to Skyrizi, I'm on my way with clearer skin. 3 out of 4 people achieved 90% clearer skin at 4 months. And Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, had a vaccine, or plan to.
Nothing on my skin means everything. Ask your dermatologist about Skyrizi. Learn how AbbVie could help you save.
Now tomorrow on ET, Nashville Week continues as the performers get ready for CMA Fest.
Oh, let me drop these names on you. Breland, Lauren Elena will be right here with us.
So good, so good. But we've got one more thing to
happening now.
Tracking showers and thunderstorms across our area. We'll take a close look at Authority radar in just a bit. And we have more opportunities for rain in the days ahead. And we can crank up the heat a little bit. See you in a bit.
Leon Valley wants to effectively ban homelessness within city limits. We spoke to a local business owner about the ongoing issues here in Leon Valley and about a proposed ordinance. We're going to break that down for you to see exactly what that will mean for residents here.
If your dad's the kind of guy that's got everything, how about some mail-order steaks for Father's Day? We taste test steaks from 3 popular mail-order companies, and we're going to tell you which are the best. The News at 5 starts right now. Things are clear right now, but that was not the case downtown just a few hours ago.
Yeah, and it's not the case for everyone in our viewing area. Where is the rain right now, Adam?
Well, we're tracking a downpour that's moving from Comal County into northern Bexar County. Look at the big picture, not a whole lot of coverage in terms of the rain. And most of what we've had from downtown to the south side and even west side has really fizzled out for the most part over the last 30 minutes or so. Let's go to the west side, right around SeaWorld. That's where we have one little remnant downpour. This is moving to the south pretty quickly near Northwest Vista and down to SeaWorld, Stevens High School as well. And then what I'm really focusing on right now is this outflow boundary from a pre-existing thunderstorm that's moving south from Comal County. So Bulverde's in the thick of it. Timberwood Park, it's moving in. This is the outflow, the puff of wind that the thunderstorm throws out and can initiate new storms. To give you an example of this, let's actually take a look at our Authority radar and watch the evolution of this thunderstorm here. Outflow boundary kicks it off and it keeps developing new little showers. So assuming this stays on track with its current pace and intensity, heading to the south at about 15 miles per hour here. That'll make it to Reagan High School at 5:20, Madison High School at 5:29, Chavano Park 5:33, and Churchill High School at 5:41. We'll keep an eye on this, and I'll give you an update and see how much it holds together on its venture southward, and look at how much rain has fallen and where in just a bit.
All right, thank you, Adam. It seems easier said than done. Tonight, a potential vote that could make homeless encampments against the law in Leon Valley.
In about an hour or so, Leon Valley City Councilors are going to consider a proposed ordinance which would not only outlaw camping on public property, but even sleeping in cars or on the street.
RJ Marquez with why the ordinance is being offered and how homeless agencies say they plan to be part of the solution to this growing problem in Leon Valley.
Years ago, they were under that bridge.
This Leon Valley business owner, who did not want to be identified, says he's seen the number of people experiencing homelessness grow in the past few years.
This is the end of my property, and I can't tell anybody what to do over there.
Leon Valley is proposing a new ordinance that would not allow campsites or tents during overnight hours in public spaces or sleeping in vehicles in a public street for a long period of time, among other things. And camping or sleeping along a drainage would also be prohibited under this proposed ordinance. Now, we came to Bandera Road and near Zarzamora Creek where we found a shopping cart. You can see right there it is filled with clothes, and off to my right there are more clothes and more trash in this one specific area. A local business owner here says that they have seen more unsheltered people over the past couple of years, but city officials are doing what they can right now to address these issues.
Dangerous. We've seen fires in the common areas and the parks, obviously drugs and paraphernalia.
Councilman Will Bradshaw says taking a hands-off approach ignores the problem, but he also wants to address the issue in a humane way.
We're offering help to the homeless, their shelters, Haven for Hope, etc., where they can go. I think the issue is a lot of them don't want help. They don't want to go anywhere.
The South Alamo Regional Alliance for the Homeless says it's now working with Leon Valley to find the best solution.
How can we get some street outreach capacity in these smaller municipalities? Our approach is to engage with people, connect them to different services, and we've seen people take that next step once there's a relationship and trust.
All right, I'm back out here live in Leon Valley. You guys mentioned this city council meeting set to start at around 6:30 today. Now, Councilman Bradshaw tells us that they still could make some changes to this proposed ordinance, and it may be unlikely that they vote tonight. Now, we also asked about how all of this will be enforced, and he said that that still has yet to be determined. Reporting live from Leon Valley, RJ Marquez, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, RJ. An update on a deadly shooting involving a Bexar County deputy now. The man shot and killed over the weekend, identified as Ryan Thomas Stanish. He was fatally shot outside a Northwest Side home Saturday morning. It all stems from a family disturbance in which Stanish is said to have hit his sister. The sheriff's office says Stanish was believed to have been armed with a knife before he was shot. The deputy, who is an 8-year veteran of BCSO, also got into an argument with Stanish and actually was given stitches on his face from injuries he received during that fight with Stanish.
It took only one bullet to injure 3 people, sending 2 of them to the hospital. And San Antonio police are still looking for the person who did the shooting. It happened overnight at the Westwood Plaza Apartments near Military Drive and Highway 90.
According to SAPD, 2 men were on their way to visit a friend. A man came up to them and an argument started. During that fight, the suspect fired 1 shot, hitting both victims in the leg with the same bullet. Both men expected to be okay, as well as a bystander who was hit by shrapnel. At last check, that shooter has not been caught.
Could kidnapping charges be in store for Governor Ron DeSantis? It's what California officials are considering after dozens of migrants were airlifted on private planes from El Paso to Sacramento. ABC's Melissa Aden looks into why the California State Attorney General thinks DeSantis is behind those flights and why he is considering those charges.
After a second flight of migrants arrived in Sacramento on Monday, California's Attorney General has expanded his investigation into how the now 36 migrants boarded separate private charter flights from El Paso, Texas to New Mexico before landing in Sacramento, California. Rob Bonta saying he's looking into potential state-sanctioned kidnapping charges.
They were promised help finding jobs if they got on the plane. And after they got off the plane, rather than receiving any help finding jobs as was represented to them, they were dumped and deserted.
Bonta believes Florida may be involved because the migrants allegedly had documents stamped State of Florida on them, and the charter company allegedly used to transport the migrants was Vertal Systems, the same company reportedly used by Governor Ron DeSantis' administration last fall to send about 50 asylum seekers from San Antonio to Martha's Vineyard. Governor Gavin Newsom calling out DeSantis, tweeting, "This isn't Martha's Vineyard. Kidnapping charges?"
There are other sort of lesser included forms of kidnapping. There are also potential civil violations. So kidnapping is something that we're looking at.
Neither DeSantis nor the state of Florida have responded to the accusations. The faith-based community organizing group Sacramento ACT says the new group of 20 migrants that arrived on Monday are mostly young people, some who walked anywhere from 3 to 7 months just to get to the southern border. Melissa Adon, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Another day, another candidate. Former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie expected to officially launch his presidential campaign tonight. Right now, former President Trump leading most of the polls among likely Republican voters. But as the list of candidates has lengthened since May, Trump's lead has gone down. Christie hoping to gain momentum in the primaries, using his once close ties to Trump as his advisor to his advantage.
He has now become someone who is very vocally anti-Trump. And I think for him, that's going to be a significant challenge.
Christie isn't the only hopeful candidate who has ties to the Trump administration. Former VP Mike Pence filing his candidacy yesterday. By the end of the week, there will be likely 11 declared Republicans in the race. And that list could grow even bigger.
Now to an active recall for popular baby items. If you have a boppy in your home, listen up. The Consumer Product Safety Commission reminding people that they are not safe. They put infants at risk of suffocation. These boppy loungers were recalled all the way back in September. They are not sold in stores anymore, but there may be some found in resales online marketplaces, including Facebook. So if you have one, stop using it immediately and contact the boppy company and get a refund.
Ford also recalling thousands of hybrid vehicles, and it's not the first time. 125,000 Escapes, Mavericks, and Lincoln Corsairs are recalled because their gas engine can leak oil or vapors and risk catching fire. All models are hybrids or hybrid plug-ins. That means people could keep driving with the failed engine. So far, 28 fires have been reported. You can find out more information at nhtsa.gov.
We want to take you outside. Your traffic authority camera's catching a bit of a trouble spot. This is at Ray Ellison and Loop 410. You can see emergency vehicles near the median and at least one lane closed off here. Not exactly sure what's happened, but traffic is having to go all the way around on one lane, and you can see moving slowly at that.
President Joe Biden convening his cabinet today for the first time since January, and economic issues at the top of that agenda.
The White House highlighting the deal to avoid default, infrastructure investment, and job creation. But as Karen Cava explains, the question at the top of everyone's mind is, where does the economy really stand?
Well, good afternoon.
President Joe Biden sitting down with his cabinet Tuesday for the first time since January.
Today, I'm here with my cabinet, continuing to focus on getting the job done for the American people.
With an eye toward Biden's 2024 re-election bid, where the economy will be among the top domestic issues, the White House used the meeting to highlight implementation of the president's infrastructure plan signed into law last summer, an unemployment rate under 4%, and the bipartisan debt ceiling deal Biden signed over the weekend to ensure the U.S. would avoid default.
He believes that we can continue to get things done, and there's a long list of legislative agenda that he wants to see.
With the debt ceiling crisis resolved, more economists are leaning away from the idea that the Federal Reserve's interest rate hikes to curb inflation could slow the economy to a halt. Goldman Sachs chief economist told CNBC Tuesday the labor market is cooling in a way where layoffs have been confined to certain sectors.
If you look at the overall layoff numbers, they're still pretty similar to where they were in sort of 2018, 2019, when we had a pretty strong labor market.
And consumers keep spending, though major retailers like Macy's and Costco have reported a shift toward less expensive food, essentials, and services as 2 years of high inflation takes a toll. In Washington, I'm Karen Caifa.
It's still ahead at 5. It's a front door stakeout. Literally, we're talking juicy steaks delivered right to your door. There are several companies out there doing it. With Father's Day right around the corner, this is one option on the menu. Which company delivers the best in appearance, aroma, flavor, and texture? When we come back.
I'm Myra Arthur, and here's what's coming your way on the news at 6 o'clock today. There hasn't been the influx that so many people were expecting. Weeks after the end of Title 42, the Department of Homeland Security releasing some new numbers that show a downward trend of migrant crossings at the southern border. We check in on what challenges border communities are facing right now. San Antonio City Council elections, they are not over yet. 2 districts still in a runoff race. We take a look at how much cash some of those candidates are hauling in ahead of Election Day. And a public school trying to make sure that young parents don't have to drop out. Today at 6, a mom who graduated high school yesterday explains how she managed a flexible schedule with this little guy, her toddler, right by her side. All that and more today on the news at 6.
Thank you, Myra. If you're looking for a Father's Day gift that sizzles, or you just appreciate a yummy steak, look no further than your front door. Mail order companies deliver beef in a box. But how do they taste? 12 News Side's Marilyn Moritz tells us which ones are a cut above the rest.
You can almost taste it. These folks did.
The filet was the best steak I've ever had.
I don't know which was which, but it was all great.
Consumer Reports taste tester sampled popular filet mignon and ribeye cuts from Omaha Steaks, the Kansas City Steak Company, and Snake River Farms.
The companies didn't know that we were testing these steaks. They didn't send them to us. We bought them just as any consumer would.
The panel looked at everything from packaging to the steak's appearance, aroma, flavor, and texture. Snake River Farms was voted editor's choice.
The filet mignon was everyone's favorite, and the cowboy steak was a stunner that would make any meat lover happy.
These fillets didn't come cheap, though, at $8.50 an ounce, and the 40-ounce ribeye cost $158, or $3.95 an ounce. Voted best for a crowd, the Kansas City Steak Company's filet. It's $5.83 an ounce. The 18-ounce ribeye was about $70 or $3.96 an ounce.
Most tasters like this ribeye the best, even if it wasn't the prettiest.
Omaha Steaks was voted the best value.
Neither the filet or the ribeye were anyone's favorites in the taste test, but we really appreciated how beautifully butchered and well marbled the steaks were.
Omaha was the least expensive of the three. Its filet was $4.76 an ounce and the ribeye $3.54 an ounce. Testers compared Omaha steaks to a really good supermarket steak, a fine option and especially good value. All of the steaks arrive frozen and packed in dry ice, so you can grill them whenever you have a hankering for a juicy steak. Marilyn Moritz, KSAT 12 News.
I'm hungry now.
I was about to say
story.
that.
Although I did think that story was well done.
Medium well.
Medium, exactly.
Yeah. All right, $70 for that little thing?
Can you believe that?
Oh.
That's a raw deal.
Pricey, yeah, exactly. 74 degrees out there, still some rain in the area, Adam.
Yeah, and that downpour we were tracking from Bulverde moving through Timberwood Park now towards Stone Oak, this is fizzling out. It's moving into a part of town that already had a downpour with some lightning and thunder, already had a thunderstorm, and the atmosphere is a bit turned over, so it's having a hard time really sustaining itself. So this is slowly fizzling out as it moves through Timberwood Park now, done with Timberwood Park, moving into Stone Oak, still affecting parts of Stone Oak, especially east of Camp Bullis here. Blanco Road eastward to Highway 281, just clipping Johnson High School, headed toward Reagan High School momentarily. Here we can give you a estimated time of arrival there, 5:22. Is when that'll make it to Reagan High School, and the leftovers here pushing within 1604 by 5:30, but it's going to continue to fizzle out as, again, I mentioned it's moving into an area that's already had a storm, and the atmosphere is rather zapped of its energy and potential. Here's the big picture, though, widening it out. There isn't a whole lot left over. You get just northeast of New Braunfels off I-35, a few downpours there closer to Lockhart, and even up in Kendall County, outflow boundary pushing westward, crossing over I-10. That's something to watch carefully as it moves into Pipe Creek and Bandera, could actually kickstart new convection, new downpours and thunderstorms developing. Near Castroville, between Hondo and Castroville, one downpour with a little bit of lightning and thunder there. See the white line? That's a cloud to ground lightning strike detected by the lightning array, and that's where you can see that. Let's talk about how much rain has actually fallen with Authority Radar, taking a look at our 12-hour rainfall totals. Now, everywhere on this map that you see the colors, the blue or green, that's where we got rain today. And notice how it just came straight down San Antonio and even Comal County. So let's go up near Bulverde, especially just west of Bulverde, between Bulverde and Bergheim. We're talking nearly 9/10 of an inch. Whenever you see the green on the screen, that means a minimum of half an inch of rain. So 1604 and 281 here, Hollywood Park, not far from Reagan High School, where I mentioned that next downpour is going to make it by 5:22, 1.5 inches at that big interchange with all the construction around there, maybe causing some ponding of water on the roadway. And then we go southward and around downtown and within 410, widespread half an inch or more. And actually, let's get a little bit closer here near South Park Mall. Let's go to McCollum High School, this neighborhood here on the south side. Take a sample here, right over McCollum High School, 1.8. We go a few blocks to the west, 1.6 inches, according to Authority Radar. And let's compare that with the ground truth. 1.5 in this rain gauge on the south side near McCollum High School. Pretty close, I'd say. That dual polarized data comes in handy. Here's the big picture across the state. A few pop-up showers and downpours, but nothing severe in other parts of the state. Just good maintenance rain for some folks, and those of us that need it, beneficial showers. An upper level low off to our west. This is not going to be barreling toward us. Actually, we've got this little ridge, this little bump in the flow that's part of the big blue H down to our south. It will influence our weather a little bit in the days ahead, maybe minimize how many afternoon storms we see. But look at this. We get into the end of the weekend and early next week, the big upper level high, the big blue H, it moseys its way back into town, and it's going to heat us up a bit and turn off our rain chances. So 30% chance tomorrow and Thursday, 20% for Friday and Saturday. Let's talk temperatures. 79 now at the airport. Dew Point is 68. Floresville at 82 degrees. We're 79 in Windcrest and Mico at 78. Tomorrow, we start the day at 68. Then we top out at 90 with that 30% chance. But I mentioned that big blue H, mid-90s by Sunday, and it looks like we'll stay there for a while.
All right. It'd be nice to see the sun again for more than an hour.
All right, so the Cowboys, there's some big name free agents out there that they could sign.
They could absolutely sign. One of those names, of course, is wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins and Ezekiel Elliott, right? So Jerry Jones addressed those two players yesterday. Plus, Marcus Davenport is very happy wearing Vikings purple. Coming up.
What about DeAndre Hopkins, free agent receiver?
Don't dismiss any possibility. It's unlikely.
Up right here.
Doesn't sound like Jerry Jones will pursue free agent wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins in Big Board Sports.
Pro football coverage powered by Davis Law Firm.
Yeah, as you just heard, it doesn't sound like Hop is going to join the Dallas Cowboys. What about former Cowboys running back Ezekiel Elliott? Due to salary cap issues and declining production, the boys released Zeke back on March 15th. Dallas drafted him 4th overall in the 2016 NFL draft. Zeke is 27 years old and still without a team, meaning there's always a chance he could re-sign with Dallas. Yesterday at the Shrine Bowl, Jerry Jones was asked once again about bringing back Zeke.
Again, I wouldn't want to get into the nature of how we've done it, but certainly it's no secret that Zeke is evaluating what his opportunities are, and we're evaluating what we're doing as well.
The Cowboys are holding a mandatory minicamp today through Thursday. Minnesota Vikings edge rusher Marcus Davenport is starting all over with the NFC North Football Club, which is one reason why he chose the number 0. He's the first number 0 ever in a Vikings uniform. He said it represents a new frontier after 5 seasons with the New Orleans Saints, and he wants to start from 0. After the Saints let him go, Marcus signed a 1-year, $13 million deal with the Vikings, and so far, so good for the San Antonio great.
I want to say my favorite part about what they said about the Viking culture is, you got to pledge yourself to who you pledging to serve. And I'm trying to serve my team. So from there, I'm pledging my full self. And I see everybody else do it, so, it's easy to fall in line.
So did that click right away? Like, when you guys got here mid-April, did you see it snap of the fingers?
Yeah. Hey, look, they had already built the culture, and from there, as KO was talking about, it's just affirming the culture. And from there, when you have a successful organization, especially in year 1, you can kind of follow through with it and then take steps from there.
Minnesota will hold a mandatory minicamp June 13th and 14th. And in shocking news today, the PGA Tour, European Tour have agreed to merge with the Saudis and Live Golf. They're creating a commercial operation designed to unify professional golf around the world. As part of the agreement, all sides are immediately dropping lawsuits against Live Golf, and the golfers are unhappy, especially on the PGA Tour, like Colin Morikawa, because they found out this news on Twitter.
How is this going to work? I mean, there's still a lot of questions about this.
And that's what a lot of the golfers are asking. How is this going to work?
Yeah. Thanks, Larry.
We'll be right back.
Authority radar shows a few showers left over, not as much as what we had this time yesterday, but we got to watch out for a few outflow boundaries that could kickstart some additional showers. It all comes to an end by sunset and thereafter.
Thank you, Adam, and thank you for watching the news at 5.
See you at 6.